We're diving back into the world of Final Fantasy IV 3D Remake to figure out whether this reimagining of the classic RPG is worth your time in 2024. Let's start with the core gameplay. The game sticks to the turn-based combat style from the original, but it adds a bit of flair with the active time battle system. This means that instead of waiting around for your turn, you'll see a gauge fill up for each character, and when it's ready, you can take action. It keeps battles moving quickly, so you have to plan your attacks, defenses, and spells strategically. Each character in your party has a unique role. Cecil, for example, is a tanky damage dealer, while Rydia focuses on summoning powerful creatures. This variety keeps battles interesting because you're constantly thinking about how to combine everyone's strengths. One thing you might notice is the difficulty spikes. Some fights are surprisingly tough, so you'll need to grind, basically battle enemies repeatedly, to strengthen your characters. It can be a bit tedious, especially if you're used to modern games where grinding isn't as necessary. However, if you enjoy the challenge, it's a rewarding system. The remake also includes some handy new features to make your experience smoother. You can speed up battles with an auto battle mode, which is great for grinding. There's also a mini-map on the screen, so you're less likely to get lost in dungeons or on the world map. There's a new Game Plus mode as well. This lets you replay the game while keeping your progress, like levels and gear, from your first playthrough. It's perfect if you want to experience the story again or try out different strategies in battles. Still, some parts of the game feel dated. Inventory management, for instance, can be a bit clunky. If you're used to more modern RPG systems, it might take a while to adjust to these older mechanics. Visually, the 3D remake gives the game a fresh look while keeping its retro charm. The characters now have a chibi, small and cute, style, and the environments are colorful and detailed. Iconic places like Baron Castle and the Tower of Zot feel alive and rich with atmosphere. However, if you're expecting cutting-edge visuals, this game won't blow you away. Some textures look a bit basic, especially if you've played newer RPGs. Now, the soundtrack is a masterpiece. The original music, composed by Nobuo Uematsu, has been rearranged for this version, and it sounds incredible. Each track sets the mood perfectly, whether you're in a tense boss fight or exploring a serene town. The game also introduces voice acting for the first time. While some performances hit the mark and add a lot of emotion to the story, others feel a bit off. If you're someone who grew up imagining these characters' voices, hearing them speak might feel a little strange at first. The world of Final Fantasy IV is a classic medieval fantasy setting, complete with castles, airships, and magical dungeons. The map is large enough to feel like a proper adventure, but it's not so massive that you'll feel overwhelmed. One of the best parts of this game is how the world evolves as you progress. At first, you're just exploring the lands of Baron and its surrounding areas, but soon enough, you're traveling underground to the Land of Summons, or even heading to the moon. Every location feels distinct, with its own unique challenges, puzzles, and enemies. The overworld map and dungeon designs are simple yet effective, but keep in mind that some areas require backtracking. This can be a little frustrating, especially if you prefer linear progression. Now, let's talk about the story. The plot follows Cecil, a dark knight serving the kingdom of Baron, who starts to question the kingdom's motives after being ordered to harm innocent people. This moral conflict sets him on a journey of redemption, where he faces betrayal, loss, and personal growth. The cast of characters is what makes this story so memorable. You've got Kain, Cecil's best friend who struggles with loyalty, Rosa, a healer with a strong emotional connection to Cecil, and Rydia, a young girl who grows into a powerful summoner. Each character has their own story arc, and seeing their development adds a lot of emotional weight to the game. The remake adds extra cutscenes and dialogue to flesh out the characters and events even more. These additions help new players understand the story better, but if you're a long-time fan, some of the changes might feel unnecessary. The pacing can also feel uneven. The beginning is packed with dramatic twists, but the middle sections slow down with less action and more exploration. Despite the improvements, Final Fantasy IV 3D Remake isn't without its flaws. The difficulty spikes can be frustrating, especially for players unfamiliar with older JRPG mechanics. Some boss fights require specific strategies, and without proper preparation, they can lead to hours of grinding. The voice acting, while a nice addition, is inconsistent, and some characters' voices might not align with the way they've been traditionally imagined. Additionally, the graphics, though charming, may not appeal to gamers who expect cutting-edge visuals in a remake. So, Is Final Fantasy IV 3D Remake worth playing? If you're a fan of JRPGs or a nostalgic gamer looking to relive one of Square Enix's most beloved titles, this remake is worth checking out. On the other hand, if you're seeking a completely modern RPG experience, the old-school mechanics and graphics may not be what you're looking for. Ultimately, Final Fantasy IV 3D Remake offers a solid mix of nostalgia and modern updates. Just be prepared for a journey that stays true to its roots while making modest strides into the present. And that wraps up our review of Final Fantasy IV 3D Remake. If classic adventures aren't your thing and you're more into epic, action-packed experiences, we've got you covered. Check out our review of Final Fantasy XVI by clicking here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.